So 5, 4, 3, and we're live. Thank you so much for joining us today on the new episode of Polybius. Together with me, there's Antonio, friend of mine. We did a few of these things in the past together, and it's probably the most qualified person to talk about what we're going to talk today, and that is the use of blockchain and decentralization in the travel space. So we're in for a ride. And then we got Sofia. That is your first time in Spatial, so very happy to see you here. And next to me, without a body today, you got Justin. Apparently, he's getting some connection issues, and
I don't know.
so we
I'm
can
not on mute.
basically
Can you hear me?
you can we can totally. So we can hear Justin, but apparently
Can
we
you guys
cannot
hear me?
see his body. Going to mute it. I got very good. Okay, let's start. Antonio, so thank you so much for being here with me today. And I know this is a very it's a topic that is very close to what you guys do. And then I know that for a lot of people, especially in the hospitality space, concepts such as blockchain or decentralization or even worse, boom, tokenization can sound a little esoteric and obscure. Could you just guide us through and make us understand, like the first thing, what is blockchain, and what could the applications of blockchain in the travel space be now, and what could be the possible application? And after we do that, we talk a little bit more about the distribution aspect. But I would like to start with something a little more generic. So can you just give us a blockchain definition and what are some of the applications?
Yeah, sure. First of all, thank you for the invitation. It's always a pleasure to be part of your events. And so I would say that maybe the best definition for everyone of blockchain is that it's just a new way of thinking about a database. So in the very easiest way possible. But it's a different one. So it's not managed by a single person or a single company, but it's managed by several people and companies, I would say. And so that's very hard to modify, to edit it. So that's to me the way how I explain what is a blockchain to everyone. So in this way possible, and in this way you can already imagine how many things that we are doing right now in our life are based on database and on transactions, because you can certify a transaction on the blockchain. So, and that transaction will be unmutable. So it will be there forever. And we can talk about different transactions. So it can be money, it can be goods, it can be information, it can be whatever. And that's, I do believe, the potential, behind this innovation. So making the transaction of more or less everything in a digital way, safe and and independent from companies. Um, and we can see in the travel space already some of the applications that have been built on top of the blockchain, starting from payment in cryptocurrencies, which is the easiest one to understand. And can you still hear me correct? Just to checkpoint.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, 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 cool. And so that's starting from the crypto payment. Then we already have seen some first pilot regarding a loyalty program, And there, which is the difference, for instance, between a Web2, let's say, loyalty program and a Web3 loyalty program. The main one to me is that Web2 loyalty program is related to a person. Web3 loyalty program it's more a status. So we can exchange the Web3, and if I give you an NFT to certify that you're part of my loyalty program as an hotel, or I don't know, as another company within the travel space, and as a customer, you have this NFT that says that you are part of the loyalty program, but that's not your name. That's the fact that you have the NFT that makes you part of the loyalty program, so you can exchange it, and you have an asset. So that's the biggest difference in the easiest way possible to describe. And this is another application, for instance. And we also have, as I said, like that the travel industry is one with very a lot and different stakeholders, and you can have different standards regarding information that are exchanged between these stakeholders, and you can base this exchange on a blockchain that can make this process of exchanging information very standardized. And the last one, and that's the one where I am focusing on with Tachyon, is the one of creating a new sense of ownership regarding digital. First of all, creating new digital goods. And secondly, creating this ownership regarding these digital goods. And in this way, you can make, like the bookings from hotels or airline ticket or train resellable, and you can even create the first ever secondary market for the travel industries, which is something very, very new that I do believe that the biggest industry that doesn't have right now a secondary market. I don't know if I answered your question, but I've stopped here. So if you
probably, you totally answered my question. A lot of the things you said, I would like to explore a little further. But let me ask you something else before I move to Sophia, right? When for a lot of people, especially people not coming from the crypto world or Web3 or Metaverse, or whenever we talk about blockchain, the instant connection is with cryptocurrency. Now, can you explain why?
Yeah, so it started from there, I would say. So that's let's see like that the situation. So the blockchain is the technology that is enabling all more or less all the Web3, and that's the base. So you have to think as blockchain as the base of everything. Then on top of that, you can have cryptocurrencies, you can have NFTs, and you can have decentralized organization, and so on. You can have token, you can have whatever. And we are used to connect and link blockchain and cryptocurrencies because cryptocurrencies have been the first example that has become mass market, not in the usage, I would say, but mainly in the press coverage, and that's why we are used to think as blockchain and Web3 just cryptocurrencies, but that's an important part, of course, but that's just one. So this way, of creating a new money, I would say, a new way of exchanging value. That's the cryptocurrencies. But yeah, as I said, there are several opportunities. To me, one of the most fascinating one is the NFT. So which is basically just, I would describe it as a certificate of ownership, a certificate of digital ownership, and that's super interesting. We saw it with the race of the NFT, with the art world, but it can be applied to several industries and so on. There are truly different applications built on blockchain, and we are used to link that to cryptocurrencies because it was the biggest, the first one that has raised as use case.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, that totally makes sense. That's just just a little history lesson for people that are not very into that. But yeah, basically what Antonio was saying is that this is, to me, it's more like an egg or a chicken kind of problem, right? Because the blockchain actually was born with Bitcoin, but now like all the interesting applications of the blockchain, at least to me, rely outside of the cryptocurrency itself. So yeah, it's thank you for that. Sophia, so I know this is, first of all, this is your first time in spatial. Is it your first time in the metaverse as well? Yeah. We lost her. Right. Okay. I cannot really hear you, Sophia. I don't know. Let me check if you're on mute. Let me unmute you.
Hear me now?
Try to talk. Yeah.
Yes, hi. I'm talking. Yeah, you can hear me?
Yeah, perfectly. Yes. So,
Okay, great.
is
Oh, sorry.
this your first time in the metaverse? Yeah.
It is, and I have to say, I'm really enjoying it. It's a very exciting format in which to conduct a panel discussion. So yeah, it's awesome. Thank you so much for setting it up this way.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So, again, when we're talking about blockchain in general, for a lot of people, especially in the travel industry and the hospitality industry, there's always this connection to cryptocurrency. So basically, even when you go to talks, it's pretty much always about accepting crypto payments and so forth. But there's so much more. So in your experience, because I know you're doing some investing work as well in Web3, what is a promising approach to decentralization and blockchain?
Gosh, it's a great question, and it's a very loaded one at the same time because blockchain technology or distributed ledger technology is at the root of this transformation that we're seeing that will revolutionize industries. Um, you know, um, Obviously, blockchain, is a shared immutable ledger that basically allows you to record transactions and track assets within a network. And that can be any sort of asset. And obviously, crypto, as you guys know, is like a digital currency. It's an alternative form of payment, and it utilizes encryption in order to verify and legitimize transaction flows. So blockchain is disruptive on many labels just because of those characteristics that you just mentioned. So some of them I'll just review are decentralization. So the ownership is distributed equally among everyone who participates in the ecosystem. So in Web3, that's like builders and users. It's permissionless. That means everyone has access and the ability to participate. There's no individual governing body regulator that can prevent someone from participating. The security aspect is really important due to that encryption that I mentioned. And I think in particular in Web3 space, and as it relates to our conversation, being able to protect personal and sensitive data from being utilized and monetized without other people's consent is critical. There's also a trustlessness nature of it, the way in which blockchain works. There are incentive mechanisms and economic mechanisms that doesn't rely on the support of any intermediaries to verify transactions. And that's really powerful because actually it's the first time in history we've been able to have trust at zero cost. There's a lot of industries where you pay for them to be an intermediary to transactions that those transactions can be verified and deemed trustworthy. We completely utilize technology now in this new paradigm to ensure that these transactions are trustless. And then verifiable is the other part that's important, is that, because of the nature of how it's transparent, everything is verifiable, on the blockchain in real time. And you don't need to pay any expensive third-party providers to verify, if, for example, a transaction reaches a destination. So these are very powerful characteristics that when you combine them all in one, there's scope to really transform businesses and the way in which we transmit value across different ecosystems, including travel and hospitality. So I hope that was your question, but wanted to give a bit of a background on how you can use.
No, it's a lot. It's a lot. I think
of transacting.
Yeah, I think that for a lot of the viewers, this is a lot to take in.
Hello?
And but I think that the main idea here is that probably we need to break it down a little and just try to focus on different aspects.
Hello?
Like something you said that that really resonates with me is the fact that that you're talking about the fact that blockchain is completely decentralized, and one of the problems that we do have in the travel space, especially when it comes to hospitality, is a very high level of centralization, as hotels know very well. And so I'm not sure if Justin is back now. Justin, I can see your body. Can you try to talk for a second?
Yeah, I think I can, actually. I think it works finally.
Wow. Okay, you're back.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah. Okay. So looks like we can actually talk. All right. So yeah, just go back to the conversation. I'll try to jump in when I can. So don't worry.
Very good. Well, now that you're here, I'm going to ask you a question. So I don't know if you followed what Sophia was saying, but it was basically, she basically focused on several aspects of the blockchain, the lack of the need of trusting centralized systems, the fact that you can actually create value. We all know the basic features of the blockchain. Now, when I see that, especially in travel, to me, one of the most interesting aspects is probably the decentralization that I was saying to Sophia, right? Especially because we are living in a very centralized, somehow an over-centralized industry, right? So when you look at blockchain and the possible applications, and again, try to keep it as non-technical as possible. What do you see as some kind of tool to be less reliant to third parties? That again, it's a big part of the problems that most properties sees today.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so to your point, like, I think that we should go back to the origins of blockchain, right? It was the idea of a blockchain is that you don't need this trusted third party in order to confirm anything for you, because you have this third party is your blockchain, right? Is the decentralized database. Now, whenever we have a situation in which there is any sort of lack of trust, then blockchain will be a great solution, right? So when I'm thinking about the travel and hospitality industry, the one thing that stands out is that you have a lot of declared referrals or opinions on the quality of the service that you can get, right? Be it a restaurant or be it a hotel or whatever, right? Or some I don't know, trip or whatever. And I'm sure we all had our share of disappointment when you see one thing on the internet and then you try that experience or try that place and it turns out it really doesn't stand up to the standard that you were hoping it would, right? So I think that we are kind of learning to not trust so much in what we see in the internet. But if I were to stake my identity, and really like a confirmed identity, on what I'm claiming that this is worth, right? So let's say I'm saying this restaurant is really good. I went there. There is some sort of a proof, right? Because there might be like a payment or some sort, or maybe like a POAP, right? So a proof of attendance. So I have a sort of confirmation that I went to that experience and experienced something there. And now, if I'm saying that I think it was good, it's pretty solid proof that I must have been there, and I'm staking my identity. I'm staking my trustworthiness to express my thoughts. And on the one hand, we are pretty much incognito, because if the only thing you really see is just an address, right? Your wallet address, and that is something that kind of is the one thing that we can see, but we don't know the identity of the people who are behind those addresses. Now, that might not be an ideal solution, but in the internet, it's even worse, because you don't even know who the people are. I mean, I can create 1,000 email addresses, and I can and I can basically lie to people saying the quality of that service, the travel or hospitality industry is great, right? So I think that basically what I'm trying to say is this: I think that in many places we see lack of trust, and wherever we see lack of trust, I think blockchain can be a solution, because it's basically like your digital trust technology, right? You're staking something. You're not. I can track you back. I can see whether you've been there or not, right? There are ways to prove that. So I think that this is something that adds value, right? And obviously, based on that, it's fairly easy to recognize those agents. So that can be a travel agency, or that can be a hotel, or some other player in that industry. That should be recognized for their efforts, right? So if they really gather a lot of positive feedback, maybe there should be something that follows, right? And blockchain basically provides you with the infrastructure to pull that off, right? So that's I think the amazing part of blockchain is, on the one hand, it creates this trustworthy community. And on the other hand, it's already the infrastructure for you to transfer some value. So I see those two things as the innovation of blockchain in the hospitality industry.
Okay, that's very interesting. And you said something that really resonated with me, and that is when you talk about basically what you were saying is that in a blockchain infrastructure system, even reviews will be more trustworthy than they are now. And we know, and I'm not not name dropping, but we know that in the hospitality space, fake reviews are a thing, are a problem. And but I was thinking about something, because I was having this conversation with a friend the other day. I said, look, when you see all these travel influencers, for example, you don't really have a way to prove that they are what they are, And we were half joking when I was saying they could be just behind the green screen talking about a destination. And but with blockchain, you can basically have a proof that it's immutable, an immutable proof that you've been there. And actually, that could also solve the issue with fake reviews. And I do understand that the system is, let's say, semi anonymous, because we pretty much just have a wallet address, right? But I was thinking about something, and just correct me if I'm wrong. And I'm really speculating here about the possible future applications of the blockchain in the travel space. But imagine that you can connect a crypto domain, right? So let's say you're a travel influencer, okay? And you can connect a crypto domain with your name to your wallet. And from that moment on, not only I know exactly who you are, but I can actually check without centralization. So it's a system that doesn't really need any kind of trust. I can see what you're doing in terms of traveling, and I can even trust your reviews because again there is some kind of verification of the identity on one side, and on the other we're talking about a completely decentralized system that doesn't need any kind of top level kind of control. So Justin, do you think this could be a thing in the future, like using the blockchain to validate travel, the level of travel influence, for example, and even spot fake reviews?
Oh yeah. I think that this is exactly what I was trying to say. Maybe I wasn't precise enough, but I think that's exactly the thing, right? And if you create this, the beauty of blockchain is, like you said, is decentralized, but it is your third party that's trustworthy, right? So this is the technology that you can trust. Now, even if I create something like that, right? And like a system, like a platform where you leave your reviews, right? The owner of that platform will have to bring in an element of check, right? And review. Like, okay, so let's say that Simone is my travel influencer. You're traveling the world and leaving your reviews. I used to be one of the top influencers on TripAdvisor for restaurants. So I was really active whenever I went. Yeah, whenever I went to a restaurant, I left a review, and at some point, I got some recognition. I was like I received a few emails like, you're on the top 100 influencers in the restaurant, whatever. But I was like, okay, so who actually knows if I've been to any of these places? And I think that there is this opportunity, and it's a unique opportunity that can be seized with the use of blockchain, to create a platform that connects directly to the blockchain and actually allows you to leave your reviews that would actually be reviewable as well. I can check whether you were right or not, and I can say, okay, your influence, your impact is at stake. So if you want to become a travel influencer, maybe you should stake something on that, right? And if I prove you wrong, if I discover at some point that you're actually a fake, then maybe there should be a way to reveal that in some way, right? And I think that blockchain actually is the technology that enables that. And for some people, this can be like, yeah, but people who want to be travel influencers wouldn't want that kind of technology. But I think it depends. If you're really honest and if you're really in the space to bring some value to the table, then you're going to be fine, because you think you're doing the best you can, and you have nothing to hide. Unless you do, then obviously you have a lot of stake, right? So again, we go back to the issue of trust, right? If you want to be trustworthy, why not use a technology that allows that, right? And you put your trustworthiness at stake if you decide to use that technology. So yeah, I think it's a huge opportunity. I would love to see this, coming to life. I would love to see how this rolls out, but I think it's a great opportunity. And frankly speaking, it got me thinking whether there are any such applications or platforms that could be used like that. And maybe somebody should think about launching a startup to have travel reviews or restaurant reviews in which you stake your reputation. If you're proven wrong, then you can lose your reputation, right? there's an algorithm that actually manages that, right?
You know why I really like doing this, and I know that to a certain extent this is still a pretty clunky experience, right? Like, and you've seen it yourself, it took time to get in, and you had nobody for half of the episode, and there are
Yeah.
still internet connection issues, and I do understand that, but the funny thing to me, and again, I can be like very naive when it comes to that, but I think that technology is never really neutral. Okay, the fact that you are exploring new technologies kind of puts you in a mood where you become even more open to changes. And basically, what you're saying is a great idea. And honestly, I don't think I ever seen a blockchain reviewable review, as you put it. So an amazing way to put it. System out there, and this could actually be a pretty good idea. Just to come up with a review system where you actually put your reputation at stake, and once you do that, you can actually review restaurants and hotels. So maybe we should jump on a call on that later, Justin. But that's great
Absolutely,
take.
man. Absolutely.
And Antonio, so back to you, because again, this is to me, it's always something that I really enjoyed about blockchain, and that just trying to prove with truth instead of the need of trust what is going on with travel influencers or views and so forth. But let me focus on what you know best, and that is room tokenization. So the use of blockchain to solve one of the biggest problems that we do have in hospitality, if not the biggest right now, and that is the problem with room distribution. So can you tell us a little more how hotels can actually take advantage of distribution through the blockchain? And can you tell me a little more how you are doing this at Tachyon?
Sure. So I've started with, let's say, the current situation. So right now, if you have like a T-shirt and you don't want to use it anymore, you can resell it, no? So you can do the same with a vacuum cleaner. You can do the same with a smartphone. You can do the same with a TV. But you cannot do that with a travel booking, or a hotel booking. And why that? Even if, like, if you think about that, a T-shirt that you resell has been used. A hotel booking, a reservation that you cannot use anymore. It's not even used, but you cannot resell it. So you cannot exchange it or transfer it to another one right now. And this is happening because right now, as you know, the hotel bookings are nominal contract for services and are not goods. So that's the biggest difference between what I mentioned before and the hotel booking. And that's why I do believe, and that's what we are doing at Tachyon, transforming hotel bookings into resellable digital goods. It's possible right now with Web3 technologies, and not before, because we have the NFT, and we could tokenize actually the room nights and the overall hotel bookings, making it resellable. So people can transfer it, but it's both, I would say, like C2C level, so customer to customer. It can be B2C, it can be B2B. So it's very, spread the innovation behind this idea of exchanging bookings, tokenized bookings. And I do believe, and that's what we are doing at Tachyon, that right now the booking system is kind of, inefficient, because we do have two main rate so the refundable one and the non-refundable one. But that's creating a win-lose situation between travelers and hotels. Why? Because if we think about the refundable, refundable booking, it can be an issue for the hotels because they don't have a guaranteed cash flow, and that's not for sure immediate. So that's a point there. So, and we are talking about around 20% of cancellation rate on average. So it's 1 out of 5 booking that needs to be handled once booked. And if we think about the non-refundable bookings, instead, it can be an issue for the travelers because, I mean, if I can go as a traveler, I book something, I cannot go anymore, I just lose my money. So why don't we change this paradigm thanks to NFT and blockchain? Why we don't create a system where, we can create a win-win situation? So, and we made it with Titan, creating what we call the resellable rate, which is a prepaid, non-refundable, but resellable booking. So you, as a hotel, when a resellable rate is booked, you receive immediate and guaranteed cash flow, and that's it, and you're fine. Instead, travelers pay the lowest price in the market, but they keep the flexibility to resell the bookings. And in this way, we can create, finally, for the travel industry, and I said that before, it's the only one without it, we can create a secondary market where B2B, C2C, B2C, we can exchange bookings. I do believe that that's one of the most interesting application of NFTs and blockchain, of course, can make a true game change. It can be truly game changing for the travel industry.
Yeah, totally. I do agree. And so thank you for that. And I always say, if you think about it, there is a demand for that. We don't really have it. And the example that I bring is always like the concert or event ticketing system, right? So when you buy a ticket today, let's say you want to go to a concert, and then for whatever reason you cannot go to that concert, right? Or if you're actually buying the ticket just to resell it, so to make a profit out of that. You can actually do that. You can do that for sport events. You can do that for concerts and so forth. You cannot really do it for rooms. And so I think there is a huge demand for that. And but nobody's really addressing the issue. I think that to a certain extent, it is also because, of course, this decentralized system, the centralized marketplace, call it as you like, it's a direct threat to a distribution system that has been very centralized, like in forever. So I think that the big issue is not even a tech one. Technologically speaking, correct me if I'm wrong, Antonio, I think we're pretty much there. I think that the big shift needs to be an entrepreneur kind of shift, a mentality shift, to move from a very centralized system like OGAs, wholesalers, bad banks, whatever, to a more bottom-up kind of approach with decentralized distribution. Would you agree with the statement?
Absolutely. So it's what I'm experiencing since I launched Titan. So I'd say the cultural, blocker. So right now, we are not used in the hospitality industry to think about the possibility, to make other people exchange and manage the bookings from your bookings. No, it sounds kind of crazy when I go to talk with some hotels, they don't have a real concern. It's just okay, but now I'm giving the ownership of a reservation to a customer, and what they are going to do with that, and they're just going to resell it, they're just going to exchange it, or they're just going to use it as they are already used to, as I said, with a T-shirt, a smartphone, a TV. I'm sure that the producer, the manufacturer of this kind of goods are not worried about eBay, and I cannot see why hotels need to be worried about this new way of this new sense of ownership related to the bookings. So I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Can I
I don't
just-
think it's only a pro. Yeah, sure. Just go.
Yeah, because from what you're saying, I think there's also another problem that sometimes pops up. It doesn't. It's not so much about the travel, because typically the carriers, they really have a lot of control in that space, and they will simply it's you okay, you can always change your tickets, but it's going to be at some expense, right? With experiences sometimes, right? If you purchase like your experience, you mentioned concerts, right? There's also another problem that I think is worthy to be mentioned, and it's the ticket touting, right? Or this, I think it's called in American English, they call it as scalpers, people who actually sell the tickets like in the second-hand market, right? And they will and they will charge you.
I know about that. I'm trying to buy a Depeche Mode ticket like in forever. These damn guys are just reselling it for 3 times, 4 times the price.
Exactly, and the concert. So first of all, people who organize, the concert organizers or the event organizers or whatever, the trip organizers for that matter, they have no control over the price range that is applied by those I don't want to call them scams or something, but those people, let's just say, and they get nothing from it. So it turns out that they managed to sell this ticket for, I don't know, it cost you $100. You sell it for $500, and there's this 400 difference in between those two price ranges, but the organizer will see not even a dime out of that, right? And I think with the use of blockchain, that can be actually, first of all, the price range can be controlled. So you can resell your ticket, but you cannot resell it for like twice that much, or maybe 5 times that much. And we will, the organizers, I mean, will have their share. So if you decide not to go, right, and we have some additional tasks that we have to perform, like we have to change the names on the booking systems or on the flights or whatever, we have to we have some extra effort on our end, then we charge you like a fee, and that fee is already calculated in that resale price, right? And again, blockchain is a beautiful technology because you can already program or develop all of that on blockchain, right? So some royalties or whatever can be also applicable there. So yeah, I love the idea, Antonio. I think it's wonderful, and I really hope it's going to work out for you just fine, because it looks like a great deal and a great business you're doing, guys.
Thank you. Yeah,
you guys.
Go, Simon.
Yeah, go. No, please go.
No, just on top of that, and it should be even easier, for the hotels, like avoiding this kind of situation that you just described, because like thinking about concert, there is a small demand, I would say. So it's very, easy in such a way to buy all the tickets and then make the market. Instead, if you think about a destination, because that's what we should think about, not a single hotel, but like a destination. I mean, Fashion Week in Milan, okay, that can be a use case. So you can buy all the rooms from the hotels in Milan and then resell it to a higher price. But I mean, that's a very huge amount of money to buy all the rooms from all the hotels in Milan and make the market. So that can be an extreme situation, thinking about the hotels. Instead, it's an easy one, with the concerts or the tickets from a sport event. But yeah, I mean, that's an issue. But and I totally agree with you. We can solve this by making the hotel's owner or the organizer of the event also happy to work with the secondary market by receiving something from this resell. That's a very cool strategy.
Very good. Okay, Sophia, I think you're back now. So let me ask you something, because we got basically we got Justin, and I just discovered that he is or used to be like a food influencer, let's put it like that, and he came up with this interesting idea of blockchain reviewable reviewable review. And Antonio, of course, is working. It's been working for a long time in room tokenization. And but again, the funny thing about this panel is that we always come up with interesting ideas. Some of those can be like probably they have no application, but it's great just to take a look at the future. Sophia, in your mind, like, because you gave me a great first explanation of the technology itself, but if you see like a possible application in the travel space, and this can be anything from hospitality or destination or food, whatever. Is there anything out of the box that comes to mind, or like if you could invest some money in a company using blockchain in the travel industry, which company would that be? Okay, I cannot hear you, Sophia. Just give me 1 second. No, let me check if you're muted. Let me unmute you for a second. Okay. Oh, Sophia's gone. Okay, let me check. Just give me 1 second. So we got Sophia back. Well, in the meantime, guys, I know we had a few technical issues today, so okay, Sophia is getting back. Let me check if we can get her. Sophia, can you hear us?
Back now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Perfectly. So
Okay, so sorry for all the technical difficulties.
it's
yeah,
fine again.
Look,
It's
yeah.
look, it's fine. The problem is, like, remember, like, maybe you're too young to remember, but we do remember the first experiment we used to do in the 90s with the internet. So it's totally acceptable. Never mind. But
Yeah.
did you understand? Have you heard my question?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of different benefits across different sectors of the hospitality and travel industry. I mean, for airlines, for example, I don't know if it was mentioned earlier, you can have better customer engagement. As other intermediaries are removed from the equation. There can be direct contact between customers and airlines in a more efficient sort of on-chain manner. I think the decentralization aspect of blockchain also for like hotels can help with like settlement and commission tracking and engagement and sort of promotional activity as well, maybe via NFTs. I think there's all sorts of other benefits for like tours, corporate travel, things of that nature. I think one really interesting use case would be like if we think about COVID and the pandemic. I mean, part of the issue we had there was mass travel of people from high risk areas into low risk areas and general spread of illness. If we had a Web3 travel solution where we could actually in real time monitor transparently activity and movement of people over time, we might have been able to manage the transmission a lot better. And the Web2 tools that we had at our disposal were not sufficient. So like even as like a public good as it relates to public health, I could see companies zoning in on solutions that would help us be more prepared in the future for another pandemic.
Okay, yeah, okay, I see where you're going with that, because like for example, what I experienced, and I think you experienced that as well, is that every country was managing the emergency in a very disconnected way, right? So we got, like, I remember at the time I was living in France, and they used to have like if I remember correctly, like a website you had to register every time you traveled. Like in Italy, they used to have an app, but of course, this information were lost when moving from one country to the other. So you're totally right. Like blockchain in that regard could have saved us, a lot of issues, and even from
Yeah.
a health point of view, that could have been a great tool.
Yeah,
But you said
absolutely.
something
And then,
that it's interesting. Yeah, sure. Go
yeah.
on.
And then also, I mean, generally, I'm sure, it's been mentioned previously, the way in which we can actually record information in a secure manner, and utilize it to increase, engagement and adopt new revenue streams, reward points, coupons, those sorts of, all those benefits. I think there's also, that whole movement towards a unique Web3 identity, will help to prevent fraud, and improve, the efficiency of identity control. I mean, we're doing a lot more with that, I guess, with passports and whatnot. But there's another layer that we can go in terms of utilizing like a native Web3 identity, to be able to, store customer information, to be able to prove identity. So it'll solve a lot of problems that the travel industry has, or even something as basic as like you lose your luggage and you don't that would allow you to track from point to point your luggage.
Sophia?
Oh,
I think
sorry.
I lost you.
My MacBook is going crazy. Anyways, I'm going to leave it at
Yeah,
that,
okay.
but there's a lot of different ways we can leverage Web3 blockchain and
Well,
NFTs
that's
to
great.
make travel more efficient.
So that's great. I think, if I remember correctly, and maybe Justin or Antonio, maybe you remember that. I think there are a couple of companies out there doing luggage tracking on the blockchain that to me makes total sense. So I'm not sure we can quote unquote steal this idea. But you said something interesting, Sophia. And going back to you for a second, right? You didn't have too much time to talk during the first part of the panel, and it's interesting to me, especially the possible applications of blockchain technology when it comes to loyalty programs, right? And I think it's a very under-discussed topic. And let me give you an example. Like, and I'm pretty sure, like, you had this experience before. You got points for like, you know, uh, an airline company, and that airline company goes bankrupted, or it's just it's merged into another airline companies, or this points just expire. It's always very painful when it comes to loyalty programs. So do you think that to a certain extent we can come up with some way of connecting all these different dots and have some kind of loyalty program, a unified loyalty program that can cover anything from flights and hotels and restaurants, and it's all in our blockchain wallet? Do you think, first of all, do you think this is doable? And second of all, do you think this will solve the problem of the clunkiness of loyalty programs?
I'll just say one thing quickly and let the other panelists mention. I mean, yes, I think blockchain will enable us to have like different marketplaces where we can assign a real value to those loyalty points across different programs. I mean, I think everyone's familiar with like credit card programs, airline programs, hotel programs. If we unify and standardize that in terms of the infrastructure of how it's set up and transmitted, and we could even trade more efficiently royalty points between different types of travel companies, between different users. So I think the point is that this blockchain will enable us to improve on the infrastructure and create better standards so that we can be more unified across different sectors and within sectors.
Makes all sense. Yeah, the standard part is very important. Sophia, thank you so much for being with us today. On a final note, what is the best way to get in touch with you, and tell us a couple of words about your company?
Yeah, I mean, LinkedIn's a great way to get connected. At the moment, I'm working as a venture partner for Ventnor Capital, which is investor community and syndicate where we source a lot of deal for flow and Web3. And we sponsor a lot of events at different blockchain conferences to allow different projects who are looking for funding to meet, VCs and angels. So we're very active in continuing to promote the space. And, if you're curious and want to learn more, feel free to reach out.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sophia. And Jill, please share the link in the comments so viewers can get in touch with Sophia. Justin, final words. What is the best way to get in touch with you, with body or no body, as it happened today? And tell us a little bit more about your company.
Yeah, whenever a thing like that happens, I tend to say like I'm like Chat GPT, yeah, I'm so intangible. But yeah, the best way to yeah. So, but I do have a real body and I am a real person. So you can definitely find me on LinkedIn as well. That
Oh, we don't know. We don't know for sure. We don't know for sure. Maybe we need a blockchain proof that you actually have a body. So let's leave it to that.
Yeah, maybe one day. I think that Sophia's idea had something to that point when she mentioned the COVID, and the pandemics, right, where you could track people and the status of their illness or whatever, right? That would be a proof, right? If especially given that I went through COVID. So yeah. But anyway, the best way to reach out to me would be through LinkedIn, and I work for an IT consultancy that originated in Poland, and we've been doing blockchain stuff since some of my team were back in business in 2017. So 6 years now. I have been investing in the field since 2012. I think Ripple was my first investment. So I've been in the space for a while looking what's going on, but for the last 2 or 3 years, I was actively involved in building products and helping mature and also startup companies to enter the Web3 space. So we basically have capacity to help companies enter the metaverse and enter the Web3 space, be it through NFTs or some coins. So basically that's what we do. We strategize the entry of companies into the Web3 reality.
That's great. That's great. Thank you so much, Justin. Thank you so much for being with us. It's great, and it's great that
Thank you for having me.
Actually talk. Yeah, no problem. Whenever, my friend. We lost Antonio in the meantime. So again, this is another proof that this is still a clunky experience.
But it's life. It's life. It's as you can tell, it's life, right? Things happen here all the time.
That's it. And again, look, I'd always been a geek, and I remember the web of the early 90s. It was bad. No, let's leave it to that. But there's a level of piracy that I like, because we're all pirates here. We're just figuring it out, and that's the glitch. The glitching aspect, I think it creates some kind of fascination. Anyway, I can tell you how to get in touch with Antonio. I know Antonio quite well. Of course, you can get in touch with him on LinkedIn, and otherwise you just check out the company. It's called Tachyon. What they're doing is basically room tokenization. Is very, very interesting. I think it's back. Okay, I did like a semi introduction for you. But if you want to say a couple of words before we wrap it up.
Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, same. We can connect on LinkedIn for sure. So best way. And if you want, we are actually experimenting this. So we launched our business in October, and since then we tokenized more than 500K of bookings. Through our resellable rate. We are right now active with more than 40 hotels in Spain, and we are building this secondary market for buying and selling hotel bookings. So if you want to start experimenting with us, we are super happy both as a customer and of course as an hotel or accommodation provider.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. Thank you, Sophia. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Justin and Antonio. Again, we had some technical issues today. Very sorry for that, but we were able to make it through the episode. Next episode will be in 4 weeks. We just published the second part of the glossary. You can download it for free directly on HospitalityNet. If you got any good idea, any crazy ideas on how to use Web3 or blockchain or metaverse or crypto in the travel space, just drop me an email or Henry an email at HospitalityNet. We're always looking for new thinkers that can actually think outside of the box and so we can bring travel and hospitality to the next level. So thank you so much, guys, for your time. As always, it's always a pleasure. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Antonio. Thank you, Sophia. And we meet again in 4 weeks. Ciao, ciao.